Hi everyone. So I took a standard piece of mathematics homework about percentages and I put them through a AI chatbot. Let's see what happens when I did that. So here is our mathematic percentage kind of a problem question. There are six questions. I'm going to let's just look at the first two questions. The first one talks about 30 students in the class, 18 are girls. What's the percentage of girls? And the second one talks about a bag of Skittles, 12 are red. What's the percentage of red Skittles? Pretty standard questions. And I just took the image, right? I just took a picture of the sheet and I put it through Google Bard in this case. So Bard is the AI chatbot for Google. And I just said, solve all the problems in this sheet. Now, here's what happened. In a matter of seconds, Bard came up with responses to all six problems. It actually writes, there are 30 children. Here is how you'll do a percentage. And it comes up with percentages for each and every problem. And when I saw this, I'm like, oh my God, what is this happening? What have we done here? Right? What is it we've created? If this is how our students are going to do their work, their classwork or their homework, then what happens to their learning? What about the academic integrity, right? Are we looking at a scenario in a very near future where we have children just lazing around, watching TV, playing games, and they have this automaton almost like a automatic robot vacuum, and it's just going around and doing their work for them. And I was in a total state of, dread, right? What happens next? So before I get into what is going on here and what does it all mean, let's look into where are we with AI, right? Artificial intelligence. Of course, we are hearing a lot about it these days, but this is not something new. If you look at the timeline, it began all the way back in the 50s. That's the very first time when Alan Turing came up with the Turing test, which said, how do you distinguish a human from a computer? And then in 56 is when the artificial intelligence, the term was coined by John McCarthy. And then going forward in 97 is when we have the chess playing computer, the Deep Blue from IBM. It defeated the world champion in chess, Gary Kasparov. Now it's around this time when I was just coming out of my engineering school. I became a computer science engineer, and of course in our coursework we were taught about artificial intelligence that's coming, the neural networks. Of course it was more quite a bit of fluff at that point in time, something that we had to be aware of. But I will tell you this, in my corporate life after that, of course I didn't work at all on AI. Actually, there was not much happening in the prominent sectors when it comes to the software or computer engineering back then, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence. Now, for me personally, during that time, from their point on to about 2011, so you look at here, 99, Sony launches the robot pet dog Abo. 2002, we have the vacuum cleaner, the robot Roomba that comes along. And then you see there's a big gap here between 2002 to 2011. In 11, we have Apple that brings Siri, the virtual voice assistant. And it's that time, it's around that same time when I'm going through my own soul searching, up until 2011 in the corporate world, where I was actually making lots of devices, making them more smart. So, making our phones mobile, bringing internet to our homes, schools, or businesses, so that wherever we are, we could work on things more smartly. And while I was doing all of that, I was thinking that there are certain skills, along with the skills of science and engineering. I wish there were other things that I was taught when I was in school or in college. And as I was going through all of that, I decided to work directly into supporting human intelligence. And that's when I came into STEM education. And since 2011, um, I have been at my organization, we have been training teachers around the world in bringing STEM in a very fun, hands on way to make it real for the students. and we have teachers working using our methods and lessons around the world. So in 2011, we also have another major AI milestone that happened, which is when Watson, the computer Watson, becomes comes first in the TV show Jeopardy. 2014, Amazon launches Alexa, and then of course after that we have GPT and Chat GPT that became public in 2022. And of course we're all talking about what do we do with AI, and especially now that it's become so public. Now, if you look at the adoption and how fast ChatGPT reached 1 million users, it's such an astonishing picture. You look at Netflix, it took 3.5 years, and look at all these other apps. Facebook, 10 months to get to 1 million users, and ChatGPT got there in only 5 days. 5 days. So, this is a survey done by McKinsey and Company, which is a prominent consulting company in the business arena. And they looked at businesses in different industries and looking at the amount of AI capabilities that they have embedded into their business functions. And you can see across all industries, and covering business, legal, professional, consumer goods, healthcare, tech, financial, we are seeing the use of AI all across the board in varying degrees, but it's all across the board. So what's going on is that AI is of course it's very prevalent, it's very pervasive, and it's also very disruptive. Whatever industries it's going in, it's creating a lot of changes into those sectors. So now the question is that once we have created these capabilities, it's here, right? It's not going away. So now the question is, how do we deal with it in the classroom as teachers? What can we do about it? Now, one approach would be to just put a blindfold. Basically, what it means is that we keep doing what we have been doing. Right, and I mean that's a possible approach, but then let's think about what possibly happens. It's because of the way AI is becoming so fast, entrenched into everything that we do. It is going to start creating equity issues in the classroom, because then there will be people, the students who know about AI, they're using the tools, and then there are students who don't know about AI, probably don't know how to use it, and are not using it. So now it starts to create that stratification in the classroom that we don't want. The other thing is the fact that because AI is being used all across the board, and as educators, our role is to create students, or help create students who are more prepared for the current world, right? Not the world that we have been, but the current world or the future. And so, of course, I mean, if we're not dealing with something which is so pervasive, then we are just being obsolete. The other scenario, the other approach is to actually go and fight this technology, right? And basically find a way to completely counter whatever this AI is doing. And one of the ways would be that you figure out all these kinds of tools that can somehow detect, an AI output. And I'll show you some examples of that. But there comes the problem of trust, right? If we go into this mode of student versus teacher, and you're figuring out, if there is some kind of a digital cheating going on, or things around those places, the whole relationship actually starts to get impacted. And at the end of the day, our goal is to help bring forward responsible digital citizens, responsible adults, and that goes quite contrary to that responsibility that we want to actually instill in the students, in the children, as they're going through the education system. Um, Talking about the spy mode, right? And if we do want to get into the spy detection mode of, okay, is this AI work or not? I did a quick Google search on, okay, chat GPT output detectors. So there are tons of detectors out there, different kinds of apps. I have not used them personally, but I do see a lot of teachers, educators talking about some of these things. So they're out there. And but at the same in this the same breath, also think about another Google search, and this is humanizing chat GPT output. And this is where, and I know students who are actually taking the chat GPT output, putting it through another application which humanizes the content. So basically tries to, um, well, try to cheat the detector. So basically, when it becomes a one man up ship kind of a scenario, and as we know, technology is going evolving so fast that there'll be more and more of probably tools coming out in both the arenas. But nonetheless, I think any of these things starts to go erode the foundation of education, which is about trust, which is about creating more responsibility, responsible behaviors in our students. So then, what can we do?